Who's noticed the recent rush to gate all the TA truck stops in many major cities? Recently on my show, the discussion has been, well, as business owners, it's their right to make a profit. Well, I get that. And to a large part, I agree with that. While we're out here fighting for fairness and the ability to earn our own living, little thought is given to the expense side, but a lot of attention is placed on the problem of a parking shortage. So much so, the government agencies are throwing an absolute crap ton of money at trying to solve the problem. Well, I want to partly take tonight's show to point out that the problem is not as grave as everybody says. Paid parking is not our threat. And parking shortage is not our threat. Instead, I want to look at things a little bit differently tonight and have a real captivating discussion about what the real solution is. Because there are other ways about solving this problem, I think, than just what the media tells you. We're all a brotherhood here, right? We all look to do the same thing. The job is as the job is. You live, you work, you drive, you work long hours, and you have to park the truck eventually. Well, what if at the end of the day, you didn't have to worry and struggle about finding parking? What if at the end of the day, we could do our part to make it a little bit easier? Well, truck lovers, truth seekers, tonight we are back behind the golden TIB microphone. We are broadcasting a simple message to you, my friends. It is possible to make trucking great again. Boss Man here. I want to welcome you to the show. If you're a subscriber and you've been watching us for any length of time, thank you. Welcome back. Have a seat. I hope you enjoy the show. If you're new here, I'm a 13-year veteran of the trucking industry who has seen and done a lot, but not nearly enough. So I thought it'd be only fitting to host a show where not only can I impart to you great messages and information you can use, but also learn from you. This is one and only talk show you'll ever see where I give you a platform to be the voice to make changes necessary to make trucking great again. So welcome to the show. We have a panel full of people that know how to get the job done, are willing to share the message, and probably don't like it when I get long-winded. So let's do what the good guys do, and get this party started. What do you say?
We begin.
From Truckin City Central Command, you are on the front lines. Truckin News.
The semi-truck driver accused of causing that deadly crash on Highway 285 this week now under arrest.
Cutting edge opinion. And we will make trucking great again. Built for truckers.
You should be hauling that freight based on what works for you.
By truckers.
Remember, get them done.
Featuring.
I think trucking is a very good career.
And I am gonna beat them.
I'm gonna beat him too.
We don't do it just for us and our families. We do it for you guys.
Remember, truckers are people too.
Hosted by the El Rushbo of Truckin News, Boss Man. 860-785-3547 is the line that gets you into our show, and we welcome your input, your feedback. If you have an idea for a story that you'd like to have be part of the growing discussion, I welcome it. Send it to That's Truckin News at Outlook.com. That's Truckin News at Outlook.com. Your voice matters, and on this show, this is right here the way to do it. 860-785-3547, or leave a comment in the chat. Or if you don't have time and you have to watch us on the replay, go down below and leave a comment. But don't forget to like and subscribe while you're at it. Let me tell you, people, we are serious about providing you guys with information that helps you become better. And tonight, I want to tell you that based on an article I seen recently, truckers are not using paid parking. And frankly, they're quite pissed and they shouldn't have to. That's the premise of tonight's opinion that I'm opening with. And I welcome you to opine. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you count on paid parking or are you threatened by paid parking? Put in the comment, call the studio, let me know. Now, folks, this article talks about truckers being critical about parking. It's written by Tyson Fisher. It's in Landline. It is linked down below. Let's give credit where credit's due. Fisher's laid out the numbers on parking trends, why parking isn't getting much love, and what truckers are saying about the ridiculousness of forking over cash just to park and get some sleep. But here's the problem. This article treats truckers' frustrations with paid parking almost as a given, a complaint in passing, and it doesn't really drill to the heart of the issue or demand action for what's clearly an injustice in the making. Now, bear in mind, these are not my words. These are just what was in the article, okay? But this isn't just about paid parking. No, this is about a system that expects drivers to shoulder the cost, inconveniences, and even dangers of finding a place to park, and then dangles that $18 per night price tag as a solution right in front of them. Half of these paid spots sit empty because they're pretty much in overpriced, located areas that are far away from where most people actually need to go. And here's the kicker. Nearly every company driver and leased on operator isn't getting reimbursed for any of this. All right. Yeah, you read that right. And you heard me say it right. Trucking companies that profit from drivers' hard work aren't even covering these costs, despite reaping the benefits when a driver gets a safe night's rest and is ready to hit the road again. But that's only part of my argument, okay? Make no mistake, this issue affects every one of us, all right? You hear it on the news all the time. Parking shortage, parking solution, 460 million here, 270 million there, whatever, okay? Owner-operators and company drivers who own the rig or are running the rigs, they shelf the responsibility of having to pay for this stuff and the burden of every single cost added to it. For these guys, it's not just a few bucks. Every parking fee and every fee that we eat on the road eats into their bottom line and their profitability, their ability to keep their business alive. Think about it. For every dollar we spend, that's less we can invest. And that is me talking. I would rather put a system in place whereby the investment can continue and be kicked down the line. They do it in every other genre of expense. Why not think about parking as part of that? That's my thought tonight. Owner-operators shouldn't be left to foot the bill on something as necessary for safe and legal operation. There are a lot of us out here that can find places at customer locations. Great, that's a savings. And there are a lot of other parts of trucking that don't require that you go. But you cannot tell me that you can't run an entire week or entire month without having to pay for parking. My problem ain't paying. My problem is where the money goes. Okay. That's my argument for tonight. I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. These are the very people who carry the burdens of the industry, paying for their trucks, their maintenance, their insurance, their fuel. And it only makes sense for them to have an option to either have a different way to go about it or have these fees written off. And better yet, maybe work into and negotiate rates with clients and brokers who can then have that as part of the cost. Why should we pay twice for services that support the entire supply chain? Tell me if you agree with that. It's beyond time for a change, and I want to hear your side of it. But here's my argument. It's as plain as day. Truck parking should be reimbursed, period. It's something that's not considered and probably not highly talked about, but I'm bringing it up tonight. This is an operating cost, a necessity, no less critical than the diesel in the truck that you use. All right. This isn't just about saving you guys a few dollars. This is about acknowledging truck parking is a cost, no different from fuel or maintenance. And for every one of you out there on the side of the road burning off hours to find a space, we're not just losing time, we're losing income, we're losing safety. We're losing ground on making this industry better and more sustainable, more productive. So let's get real about this. Let's talk about paid parking. Should the operational expense accounted for it be across the board, something baked in, or should we just continue on and have it be something maybe worked into tax breaks or fees as a cost of doing business? Let's have the discussion and rethink how they look at this and see if we truly, at the end of the discussion, do we truly have a parking problem? So here's my call to you, every one of you out there watching, every one of you out there wanting to be a part of the solution. Give us a call. Let us know what you think. Tell us in the comments. I want to hear your side of it. Should companies cover parking, or should we change it entirely? So that's my opinion. Tell me what you guys think. We're going to bring on somebody and see what they think. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Oh, I'm first. Look at that. How you guys doing? My name's Driving with John. I have a job. And what I mean by job is J-O-B, as in John on break. When I'm on break, I make content. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. I like to have fun, joke around. And I like to come on here and mash heads with Midlife Trucker and Paid Trucking and Grumpy. So hope you enjoy the show, everybody. I have one more thing. My favorite restaurant's Taco Bell. I heard Grumpy is allergic to cumin, so make sure you ask him about it. Thanks for having me on, boss man.
No problem, my friend. I don't know, Grumpy, are you allergic to cumin? Is that the rumor that I'm hearing?
Uh-huh. Quite allergic to that cumin powder. Yes, I'm, as you know, grumpy old trucker. Been with Boss Man and Driving with John on this show for almost a year now. You can find me on all social platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Clapper, TikTok. I'm all there. I pretty much enjoy being on this show every week, twice a week when possible. And yeah.
What's your key signature saying? We got to hear you say it, my friend.
Oh, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Amen, my friend. Amen. God bless, and we'll be back with you here soon. How about yourself there? Introduce yourself there. Boom.
What's going on, man? I'm
Yep.
Fake Truckin. Scott. I'm from Minnesota.
That reefer guy.
That reefer guy. There you go.
Yep. All right, we'll be back with you in a minute, Fake. God bless you. Welcome to the show. Got to be the man with the plan, Larry the trucker. Give us an idea a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Larry the trucker. I'm a tacoholic.
Tacoholic.
Now, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. I write stories for you guys, so check them out.
God bless.
Yeah.
All right, Larry the
Remember-
trucker on YouTube and TikTok, if I'm not mistaken, right?
And Facebook.
And Facebook. Okay, can't forget Facebook. All right, so let's bring up.
And I don't care who you are. That's trucking.
There you go. There you go. Got to get that one in there. I like that. Let's bring up the panel and talk about the obvious point. I started talking about parking. So let me hear from you in the audience. I'll scan comments in a moment. But John, tell me, what do you think of the opinion I delivered in terms of parking? Should that be an operational cost? Do you think I hit it? Do you disagree? Let me tell you.
Well, it is an operational cost, obviously, but I actually have an interesting perspective on this because I've done company driving and I've done owner-operator. So as an owner-operator, it's obviously something that's part of your taxes that you can handle that way. But as a company driver, I worked for a company where we did a lot of relays. And they would send me to places where it was paid only parking to relay with another driver. Now, if I left immediately, obviously you get 2 hours free, so I didn't have to pay. But most of the time, I didn't have enough time on my clock to do that, so I had to pay for parking. They did not reimburse us. Now, especially in that scenario, why isn't the company on the hook for that one?
Mm-hmm.
They sent me there, and they know I can't leave.
Mm-hmm. Right. I agree with your take on that. I mean, if the company is responsible for the route or delivery, I think part of that burden goes to the company. But that's my train. I think the average driver thinks that way as well. But if you're an owner operator and you make the plan, it's on you. So that's
but see,
kind of double-edged.
an owner operator can put that on his taxes as a business expense. A company
True.
guy cannot.
Right. So do you think that the argument should be extended to say maybe it should be included on
Am I?
the
Wait. I see someone shaking their head. Fade Truckin, am I wrong?
No, I
Go ahead,
was
dude.
kind of laughing. I was kind of laughing at Grumpy's mic not muted. Sounds like somebody else I know.
Yeah, right.
Well,
So then-
my friend, I don't have the opportunity to do that. Otherwise, I would. But Boss Man has the calm. He can take care of that if necessary.
I got you.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
John, back to what we were saying a minute ago. I mean, should that not be something considered on like the 1040 or the Schedule E, or should that amend?
No.
Should that be fixed? I mean,
Well,
you make a good point.
okay.
I mean, it's fair.
I'm not
to
an
do it on
accountant.
one side, but not the other.
I'm not an accountant and I'm not a tax guy, but and correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be wrong because I have a history on this show of saying things that don't make any sense, and I am a little tired. So, but they used to give per diems to company drivers. They don't anymore.
Right.
That would have covered that, but they don't anymore. Am I wrong about that? Most companies don't do per diems anymore.
Most companies don't, but you can still claim per diem on taxes. Last time I checked.
When you're a owner operator, you can. A company guy cannot.
Well, I haven't done it as a company driver, so I haven't found that out yet. We got a caller calling in. Somebody who's with us by spirit only. God bless the USA. It's Thumper calling in. God knows where from, but how you doing, Thumper?
Oh, not too bad. It helped the parking situation.
What would help the parking situation?
If people would learn how to park.
Leave it to you to bring up the obvious.
Well,
Hey, Thumper.
You got a truck that's taken 3 spots. That's three trucks that can't fit into a spot. I mean, learn how to park, and there'd be more parking.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, did you notice the way I opened it? And let me ask you this while I got you. What about the whole idea that when you scan a city and notice that all the reserved or paid parking spots are empty and all the free ones are taken up? What goes through your mind when I describe that? Because that's one of the things that was mentioned in that Landline article.
People don't want to pay for parking.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, why would I want to pay somewhere to sleep?
Yeah. I would see the
It's
sense.
supposed to be.
I was just going to say, I would see the sense if there were amenities. Like, I'm going to toot somebody's horn for a minute, but when you subscribe to something like Parking Club, like what Fate has brought into the show a number of times.
You mean like truck parking club?
Yeah, right. When you subscribe to that, they provide amenities. You can do your laundry, you take your shower. They provide basic amenities.
Well,
some truck stops don't even do that.
And they give you, they give you 24 hours, where a truck stop only gives you from like 3 to 6.
Good point. Good point.
They only do an X amount of hours. So
good point.
The thing that I see Fate using, yes, that's a good thing to use because, they offer stuff like that. They do daily, weekly, monthly, and all that stuff. And then that's mainly around your bigger, crowded cities.
Yep.
Let's use Ogden, Utah as an example. It's a nightmare trying to find parking.
Right. Important disclaimer I need to make known here. I do not have a subscription, sponsorship, or endorsement for that service. I recommend it, however. Somebody here may. I can't speak for anybody but myself. Trucking City Media does not have a sponsorship or endorsement for them. I do like them, though. Keep going, Thumper. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw you guys opened up the show, and I figured I'd stop in, say hi. I'm getting ready to take off here, so...
Certainly.
Like I said, I'm stopping to say hi.
I have a message for Thumper before he gets on his plane.
If
Go
that's
ahead.
something that-
John has something to say to you, Fred. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Thumper.
Yo.
Hey, I just want you to remember one word the entire time you're over there. And just remember, driving with John put this there. You ready?
Sure.
9.
I'm assuming there's some.
I was gonna say the word taco, but I didn't want to take over your show. So.
Hey.
9. No.
Yeah, we know what that means. I speak German. Yeah, I know what it is. Oh, anyway.
I just figured I'd stop in and say hi real quick, and if
Thump.
you guys trigger something on me before I leave, if you guys say something that triggers in, I'll call right back in.
God bless you, Thumper. You have a safe and wonderful trip, and we'll talk to you next time, my friend.
We'll talk to you next time. We'll see you guys.
All right. Godspeed. Be safe, and keep her rolling, my friend.
That sounds like a challenge. He said if we trigger him enough, he'll call back in. So, guys, trigger that man.
Right? Yeah, trigger that man. I enjoyed that. I mean, seriously, though. I mean, am I really off base by trying to go in this direction on this? I mean, because all we've heard for the last year is we've got a parking shortage. The only way to solve the parking shortage is to throw money at it. And it's Democrats talking, of course. But in reality, I don't really think we do. I don't think we have a parking problem.
We do have a parking problem. I disagree with you.
Why is that? Why do you think so?
Okay, I'll give you the exact scenario. Okay, now this is one person, one night, but this happens a lot, and everybody on the board here has seen it happen.
Right.
It's 2:30 in the morning, and you need to stop to find a place. Paid parking is all full. Regular parking is all full. You got to play invent a spot or park somewhere you shouldn't be parking, aka a ramp or whatever. Okay, that happens every night in almost every area you're in. Now, I got lucky the other night and I pulled into a Love's and someone had just pulled out, but that's very unusual at that time in the morning. So,
okay.
So that there is a parking problem. There's also a schedule problem because if more people ran nights and less people ran days, there'd be a lot more parking. So.
Yeah. Because
Grumpy'd like to add something.
Go ahead, Grump.
Well, everybody knows I've been driving for 24 plus years, and it's not all been Class A, but
you remind us
the last 8 of it is recent of that. Well, anyhow, I have never, ever in my career of driving paid for parking. And another thing that irks me is whenever there is a spot with a blue mark on it with somebody sitting in a wheelchair, that blue mark, if you don't have one of them placards, don't park in it just because you can't find a spot.
That is a
I hope
valid observation, and I fully agree with that. I fully agree with that, Grump. Grumpy, did we lose you?
Nope, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Because you went silent there for a minute. No, I was just saying I fully agree with that because I notice a lot of people doing that too. You got no right parking in a handicap unless you've got a legitimate need for it. I mean, that is a problem. I think that warrants more attention than the actual problem we're talking about. But that, just hashtag just saying. Anyway. No, I mean, a lot can be said for what you just said a minute ago, John. I mean, schedule's everything. I think I go out of my way to drive a schedule where I don't have to worry about it. I honestly do. I'm usually parking at 4 or 5 in the morning. Why? Because that's when everybody's beginning to leave and I'm ending my day. Problem solved. That's my thing. That's the way I run. Looking at me like I got 3 heads.
Not every niche of trucking has that ability.
Oh, true. I swear to God, we've stumped Fate. He seems like he can't figure me out. Yeah. I've never seen him so quiet.
Talk.
I want Larry to talk, the guy that's been trying to talk for 5 minutes now, and people keep talking over him. I want to hear what Larry has to say.
I haven't heard him. I didn't know he was trying to talk. Sorry about that, Larry. What you
man
got?
just has to speak up. You have the floor, my friend.
Hey, you know, in every truck there's a mirror. Why don't we look at that mirror and look at it ourselves and start planning our trips better so you don't have to pay for parking?
Here's a guy, Parker. I'm lousy at names, dude. Don't make fun of me. He says most truck stops don't enforce paid parking. I refuse to pay for it. All of us truck drivers need to stop letting them take advantage of us. Okay, that's your way of thinking. Welcome to the show. Great point.
So
kind of see your point too.
I don't.
So I do pay for parking quite a bit because of the lanes that I run. 100% my choice. They did throw money at things, and if you remember right, it was a bipartisan deal, not just Democrats that
I pick on
actually
you liberals. What do you want? I pick
made
on you guys.
all you have to do is drive down 65 in Indiana and see how many parking spots are made. They made more parking spots in Wisconsin, more parking spots in Minnesota that are free. Now, as a business owner, I believe a truck stop, the truck parking club, I want to clarify something. Not all truck spots that they have amenities. Some do, not all of them. Some are just dirt lots.
Right.
But they are able to charge for parking, and I don't really see a problem with it. I would say this. I do see a problem that some company drivers aren't reimbursed for having to pay to park. The reason being, do company drivers actually have to pay for parking? Well, John said they did for the company he used to work for. I think that's wrong because somebody else is in control of your schedule.
I was going to say, my guess is it depends really on the company you work for. Every company's different policy, but
every company I've ever worked for, I've never had one that paid my parking.
We got a caller on the line.
When it comes to paid parking too.
Yeah, we got a caller on the line.
What's up, guys?
Griff, welcome to the show, my friend.
How you guys doing?
We're doing excellent. What say you on the issue of paid parking?
I really don't have a problem with parking stuff, but sometimes, because the biggest issue on parking is when you get into the bigger cities. There's either local drivers taking it up, leaving their personal cars there, stuff, whatever. They're just taking up all the free spots, stuff there, and there's really no parking stuff, especially when you got to deliver in the bigger cities, unless you get there in the middle of the day. You might be able to find some parking.
Yep.
So I don't have a problem with paying for parking, but it's the price of that at different places.
Well, example being, if you go into Atlanta, if you go to that Petro in Atlanta, you're hit with $28 for reserved and a $20 fee just to get to the front gate. So.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Yeah, that's last time I was in there. It's 28
off and everything. I can understand. Yeah.
It's 28 to park at a reserve spot. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a place up in Detroit. Stuff. There's a pilot or flying jet off of 75. You can go in for like 2 or 3 hours. If you go buy something, you can stay there the night, but it's like $15 for parking. But it's a secured lot stuff, and sometimes you'll be able to find a spot in there.
Yeah.
But like I said, the biggest issue I have is the prices of them, stuff, everything. But hell, if they start throwing in a free shower, if you got a reserve parking, even if it's like $20, stuff, like I think more people probably start doing that.
I want to know if everybody watching and you guys with me right at the moment, I want to know if you agree with something. And I was thinking about this as I was actually reading and scanning the article and drafting my opinion. Okay. This isn't a problem that's just suddenly crept up and bit us in the ass like yesterday. Okay. This is something that has been around for a little while, but it wasn't that long ago. The entire dynamic we're talking about was reversed. Okay. Because I remember years ago, and I wasn't in it because I've only been in it 13 years. But before I got into it, it used to be where truck stops were a welcoming place. Truck stops, you didn't have this pay me now and, profit-driven business model that we currently have today. The reason I say this is simple. Back in the day, if you do research and you look back at truck stops of the quote day, they had cheap prices, good stuff, and a welcoming atmosphere. And you fast forward all the way to today. Midlife brought it up in one of my previous shows. Give you in a second, John. Midlife brought it up. These companies are hemorrhaging cash now. So what's going on between the truck stops of old and today caused them to hemorrhage cash, and now it almost seems like they're justifying that argument by charging us these ridiculous fees to facilitate us being on their property, when really at the end of the day, one of the people in my thing early on summed it up perfectly. I think it was Truckin is Dead. He said it's a money grab. I don't know where the comment went. I can't see it. But he said it. If you find it, John, highlight it. But I think it's all about the money. Exactly. It's all about the money. I agree with Truckin was Dead. Now we don't go in, buy things, do things because prices are so damn expensive. And likewise, they're now charging us on the back end.
Is it a money grab? Is it a money grab when you have to hire somebody to go clean up all the poop bags and all the pee bottles and all the trash?
No,
I'm not saying us in this panel, but you said this is a brotherhood earlier in your opening thing, which I have my own opinion on that. But so if you call this a brotherhood, we have to use the words us and we've destroyed these places. Is it really a money grab? I don't think it is a money grab. They have to pay somebody to clean these lots. They have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to have these lots repaved, restriped, seal coated.
Yep.
Is it really a money grab? I'm sorry, I disagree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to expand on that from earlier. Yeah, I agree 100%.
I would have to disagree with Scott. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over John.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
It is a little bit of a money grab because when you go even on the app for like any of the major truck stops, you can go and reserve a parking and stuff and everything. You will use your points, and each of those points equal to about a cent. So you're spending like almost $20, even though you accumulate them stuff for reserve parking stuff, and you get there and there's no parking, but they don't ever reimburse you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You want a business tip? Do you want a business tip?
That is a money grab stuff.
Hold on. Do you want a business tip? Do you want a business tip? Don't use your points for something that you can write off. Use the points for stuff that you want.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that makes sense. I agree with that. With us talking in person sometimes, Scott, you kind of know where I'm coming from. So on my uphill battle, I agree with you on that, though. Yep.
And everything, but I can use my brother as an example. Stuff he was coming down, stuff he was driving late, stuff, and he was trying to stop at a point in up around south of St. Louis at a Flying J. He reserved a truck parking on the app and everything because he had the points for it. But when he got there, they didn't have any parking, but they never reimbursed them for it. So that's why I was using that as an example.
That's a problem, yeah.
But if you used money, they would reimburse you if you push hard enough.
Yep. See, that's one of the reasons why, in a sense, I agree with what Fate said. Don't ever use points for parking because that's something you just kissed them goodbye. You worked hard to get them, so don't use it. I mean,
I'll be honest with you. I'll admit I use poor boy bucks out here on this road sometimes because I haven't been able to get enough cash built up or saved up stuff to make because what I got paying myself goes to my family,
right?
So I can pay the household bills, and when I'm out, and the rest goes into my truck to keep it going,
right?
Because you never know stuff. Because even with Bates, he has a successful model stuff that, you know, if a motor goes out on him, that's the well up a creek and everything without a paddle.
Right.
Because, yeah, he could do it, but he's still down, so that's still like $40,000 to $50,000.
Which I think goes more to the argument I originally started this show out. But let me finish the point I made a minute ago and see again if there's any other takers on this. It once was, and I'm including what you just said a minute ago, Fate, but it once was an area where we didn't have so much challenge with there being all this profit involved. Only recently with the inflation and all this other stuff that's recently come into play. And I'm not blaming Democrats. I'm not saying anything about, I'm just basically saying up to about where COVID hit and now. You know, we've had both Republican and Democrats. This is a political statement I'm making. It's basically just an observation. If there was a way of changing things such that that money grab issue isn't part of the argument, I think that would go a long way. But more to the point that was raised in the comments and what we just discussed here a minute with you, Griff, you know, even though we have to shoulder the burden of paying for parking when it's necessary, what's wrong with spreading that money around? All right. I understand why the truck stops want to charge. I understand why they have to charge, because we're a bunch of slobs. We got to work on that, folks. Let's get it together. But aside from that, if we got to pay for it and we got to support this infrastructure of cleaning up after ourselves, let's at least shoulder the blame with, you know, a little bit of money going around. I mean, right now, John, you pointed out a minute ago, company drivers, we can't do that. We can't pass that buck. But the owner operators can write it off. You know, let's equalize the playing field.
I really want to talk about the money grab thing, if you don't mind. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't agree it's a money grab. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you why. Bates' reason was 100% correct, but I'll give you one that's even far beyond that. And I'm not going to claim this one. This is midlife's thing, but he's not wrong. Okay. The reason why it was different back then compared to now is because back then you had no other choice. You were stopping at the truck stop. You were going to go inside. You were going to buy your food. You were going to buy all this other stuff. They were very important to the survival of you being able to drive that truck. Nowadays, I can stock my fridge. I can stock my cooler. And honestly, I park here just because I have to. I don't ever go inside.
What led
I don't
to
ever go inside. So it's not a money grab. It's their way of making money off of you because they couldn't anymore.
Right, but that,
their business model had to change because our business model changed.
Right, but there's my point, though. What led to that? See, I opened this discussion we're having
now. A refrigerator, a microwave.
Years ago, truck stops used to be where you could find deals, where you could go do things, and you didn't have to spend an ass arm and a half your leg doing it. Now,
because you're profitable.
Everybody's about raising prices. Okay,
that's your choice. You have a choice. You have a choice.
Okay,
it's not the truck stop's fault.
No, it's not. I'm not blaming them. All I'm saying is
they had to change. They had to change their business model because our business model changed. We have microwaves. We have refrigerators. None of that existed back then.
Right.
I mean, you would go in there and you would sit down at their diner and you would eat, have a nice big dinner, talking with all the other truckers. That never happens anymore.
Now you go to a diner, you pay only 3 people in there.
Yeah.
Now,
nobody can.
Can I partake a little bit?
Go ahead, Grumpy.
I want to tell you, you know, I've as you know, all these years out here. Yes, back in the day, we didn't have refrigerators. We didn't have microwaves. We didn't have inverters. Crap, we didn't even have a phone. Okay? Now, it's the factor of it is, it shouldn't be taken out on the driver just because they no longer go in and spend all this money in there, because a lot of the restaurants are no longer in a lot of the truck stops.
Wait a minute. Grumpy. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Taking it out on the drivers?
Yes.
So what, you expect them to take a lump on the chin and a loss because the drivers aren't doing that anymore? So, you know, it's our business. We don't have to make money. It's okay. Come on.
Wait. Hey, I'm telling you, I've been out here for a while. I don't have a refrigerator in this truck that I'm driving for. a few trucks have I ever had a fridge in it. So I have to still buy my stuff out of the truck stops.
I'm going to trump you here.
I'm going to
Well,
go.
I don't have a refrigerator in this myself either, stuff, and hopefully I will be able to put one in my truck because it's a nice convenience stuff, and it's nice to be able to go to Walmart and spend $100 on food instead of going and spending $200 in a truck stop because it is expensive. But I have to agree with Grumpy. Sometimes the only meal you get is if you stop at a truck stop and maybe it has a diner. Maybe you get a couple burgers and stuff for $20 because they're selling for $10 a piece. But sometimes you don't have. They complain. He can get you on how much stuff you got in your truck stuff and give you a ticket for it. But some truck drivers are smart. They stock up and they can survive a week straight inside of a blizzard and on Interstate 80 on the side of the road as long as they can keep the truck running. But if the truck ain't moving, they have enough food and stay warm stuff because they got enough food in there stuff for emergency purposes.
I hear you there.
Which
Go ahead,
is a good thing.
Go ahead, Pete.
So, Grumpy, I've never done this to you, but I gotta trump you with somebody that has more driving experience than you. Back in the day, the truck stops weren't paved. The truck stops were gravel lots with huge potholes in them. 99% of the truck stops I go to nowadays have paved lots, have lines on the pavement. Some are even concrete parking lots. That costs money. Where does that money come from?
Now, I'm going to trump back at you.
Who should pay for that? The people that park in the spots? Yeah.
I'm going to rebut with you on that one because the fact of it is,
I got a feeling.
I remember those days. I'm telling you, I remember those days. But you know what? Did I go in that truck stop and say, hey, I want this paved out here? No, throw some more gravel in the hole and we're good.
Yeah.
What's easier on your equipment?
You guys are using one person like Grip or Grumpy. So let's be honest here. They are not the majority. Is somebody else talking?
Yeah,
they're not the majority. Oh, I'm sorry, Grip. If I talked over you, I'm sorry.
No.
That's okay. I apologize. I was just making a comment with what Boss Man said. He said, man, I have a feeling this is going to turn out to be a 3-hour show. So, well, that'll give me an opportunity to fix flushing because I got to go do a delivery at 8 o'clock.
There you go. There you go.
Well, getting ready to go over there and stuff and everything. But this is good entertainment. But luckily, I'm not like a sailor right now.
Oh, man, I wasn't really too flagged about that myself. I mean, every show we have is going to be passionate. It's going to be lively. And it's designed to do exactly what has happened each and every time. I welcome feedback. I welcome opinions. Yeah, you got to watch the swear words, unfortunately. But you know what? I don't hold it against you. You're a trucker. You're a trucker. That's all I'm going to say. So,
well,
Griff, I'm not going to hold you on the line, my friend. I welcome you to watch, and you chime in anytime you want. But we're gonna continue the discussion here.
Will do. I'm hoping one of these days I might have time to get on here and maybe be part of the panel for at least one show or whatever. So
good
thank
show.
you very much, guys. You have a good evening.
Anytime you want. Anytime you want, brother. You be safe.
That'd be awesome.
Keep it rolling. Yep. John, I didn't mean to interrupt you, my friend, but I didn't want to keep him on the line all night. Go ahead. Continue what you're saying.
I understand. I actually got two things, but I think the first one's going to consume the second one, but whatever. I can disprove what you're saying, Grumpy, by asking you a couple simple questions. You want to try this with me?
Might as well.
Okay. Are there more owner operators or company drivers on the road right now?
My guess would say it's probably more company.
Okay. What percentage of company drivers do you think have refrigerators and microwaves? Just roughly get a guess.
25%.
25%?
I don't think
I'm telling you, just about every
know.
company that I have drove
That is not.
we do not have refrigerators.
Okay.
But those are just the ones you
See,
know.
that's the problem. You don't realize the reality of it. The reality is 98% of company drivers won't drive for a company unless they have a microwave and a refrigerator, so they automatically put them in.
Oh, them poor babies. They shouldn't be driving a truck.
Hang on. They even have TVs in a lot of them. So listen, you're not the majority here. You're talking about yourself, but as in the whole industry, you're not. That's not the example to use.
Nah. That's my fridge. 90. I will side with John on one thing.
Wait, what's your fridge? The stuff that's on your bed, or?
No, I was my fridge, Philly. 98% of trucks today that are, a minor amount of trucks today that are built and supplied right off the dealership lot have refrigerators in them. So I kind of agree with John on that. I really do.
Okay. All right. Now, hang on 1 second, real quick. This is how it should be. I know Midlife would pipe up and say, you want more regulations? No. Someone's going to step in and make it where all company trucks, because it took it that all company trucks had to have air conditioning that worked in them. And I don't remember when that law was made in effect, but that happened. So now what's got to happen, if that's going to be that way, is we have regulated where we have an inverter system and we have a refrigerator built in and a microwave system. We don't need TV, but all that other stuff is stuff we need in a truck. Okay? So that needs to be pushed.
All right, wait. Oh, go ahead,
Larry.
Why is it the company's responsibility to put a microwave in the truck?
Because they want to.
I didn't say it was the company's.
That is a driver's responsibility if he wants to put a microwave in his truck.
No.
That's not a company shouldn't be forced to have to put that in someone in the
truck. No, Larry. These companies buy these trucks from Packard, from Freightliner, from Kenworth, all this, okay? These companies have the money to put all this luxury in these trucks and not charge a hell of a lot more than they do already. It's not going to cost that much more to throw a fridge and a microwave in them.
Wait, so the evil rich company owes you a microwave?
No, the evil rich company makes too much money, so they should look at it as, okay, we want to sell this truck.
Oh my!
We have more of a chance of selling it if we put these amenities in there.
Grumpy, you're triggering me, dude. There is no such thing. No. You don't have a business mindset. You have a company driver mindset. That's the problem.
Let me take back my show, okay? Grumpy, I'm gonna put the hammer down. First of all, I'm gonna look here at an issue. We're talking about parking. We're talking about shielding or shelving the burden of expenses. As much as I see the point you're making, I disagree with the way you're proving it. It is not the company's responsibility to do a damn thing but give us a truck. Okay? Let me repeat myself in case you misunderstood what I said. The only thing a company is responsible to give us is a working truck. If we want freaking amenities like a refrigerator, a microwave, and we happen to get one that has those, we're blessed and should be thankful and work from there. However, if you want one of those damn things, you damn well go out and buy it yourself. Consider yourself lucky you can find one that can fit in your truck. But to put that argument forth and make it the company should spot me, I don't agree with that. Because I'm gonna say this, and I'm probably gonna trigger somebody. I've worked on two sides of this industry. I am currently a company driver, but I've also owned a truck. And let me tell you something. The truck I owned did not have a refrigerator. I didn't buy one. I didn't want one. But damn, I wished I did have it. But I will tell you this. I didn't curse the person that sold me the truck. I dealt with it myself. I think we triggered Griff because he's calling back. Go ahead, Fate.
So y'all should we should get super chats and cash apps and stuff for this information that we're giving out. I want to make something clear. Even as a company driver, you can claim the expense of parking. When you do your taxes at the end of the year, You can do your laundry detergent that you use to wash your work clothes. If you have a uniform, like
most of us utilize the Schedule E's and do the per diem.
Yes.
So that's, yeah.
So
Actually, if you're a 1099, I'd agree. If you're a W-2, the amount that you would rack up would not even cover the standard deduction.
Well,
no,
that depends.
well,
Everybody's
yeah,
different.
well, they have, so the deductions are different for different categories. By no means
yeah.
am I a tax professional or an accountant or anything like that. I just know from experience because I've done these when I was a W-2 employee, and
Yeah, so have I.
had these as expenses for my job that I had to do. But the truck parking thing, the only real argument I have with truck parking is if I reserve a spot, it should be there when I get there.
Yeah.
That's the only real argument I have with the paid parking. I also feel like if I had company drivers and I was dispatching them and telling them where to go, I should pay for their parking. But that's me. That's a Democrat or a libertarian saying I would take care of my employees.
I told you, we're not a political show. Go ahead, Jeff.
Listen, a company that takes care of its employees, like puts a refrigerator in there, that's a bonus to the company. I'm telling you right now, if you don't work for a company that's not like that, they don't care about you. Hint, hint.
Yeah. Griff, start over again. Sorry, dude.
Okay, I was just going to add to what the argument was with the refrigerators on all this other stuff that are, should be in trucks and stuff.
Right.
If you're running for a company and you're running up in the northern part of the United States in wintertime, they should have the truck where you can idle it up at all times.
A lot of trucks, they have that Opti-Idle stuff today. I don't think it's the greatest, but it's better than having nothing. Luckily my truck doesn't have that stuff on it anymore, where it'll shut off if it's sitting for for a minute or two. It'll shut itself off. Right.
But I know in the past on one of Scott's videos in the past when he first got his truck, he went to the international dealership and got it where he can when he's sitting, he can at least idle it up for running the AC or the heater in his truck, since he is in a colder climate, since he bought an old company truck. But that should be standard if you're running for a mega carrier going up north, because I've heard many horror stories where there's a truck driver sitting inside the driver's lounge because his truck won't stay running unless he's running down the highway, and he has no heat.
Well, and a lot of that has to do with a lot of untrained drivers, because anytime you're dealing with sub-zero temperatures or certain cold temperatures will bypass that automatically. If you're
most newer trucks,
they will continue running. That bypass, that circuit you're talking about gets bypassed. I think most trucks are below 20, is it? I was going to say that, yeah. So a lot of those guys probably don't understand that and don't know that. So
I didn't know that, but it's just I just heck, myself, I got a redneck engineer. I got 2 4x4s with on the hinge with a couple J-bolt stuff I put on my accelerator, and I put some weight to it, and I take it down, and I take it up to 850.
I'm gonna get some crap. RPMs, but I'm gonna get some crap for saying this, but my redneck engineer is a cattle hauler with a dog. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
In fact, he's telling us. In fact, he's giving us good advice. It's only $600 for a fridge. Quit your bitching. Anyway, Look, Griff. Yeah, thanks for calling in. You're gonna say.
Thank you.
Yep.
So,
you guys
don't be safe.
You want to
stop throwing up your refrigerator. God, dude, we know you're a vegan.
I was gonna bust him on that too.
We'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Bye. I love that. I was gonna say that last thing you held up. What's that? What is that? A bowl of grapes you've got there?
Mushrooms.
I've got to have mushrooms. Being without mushrooms.
So speaking of our favorite cattle hauler, I got to do something really quick if you don't mind.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to interrupt your comment that you just put up there.
That's right.
So 7C said something about Trigger and Thumper, and he gave a suggestion, but I have a better suggestion. I think anybody that has a hood truck and a pre-admissions engine, they should all pay for parking, and all of us curb snippers should definitely get free parking.
Oh, you really want something to be triggered mid-air. Oh, my God.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
go park your curb sniffer on the pavement and let us do our job.
It's only taken him 55 minutes and 35 seconds to speak up. Just saying.
Okay, are we counting down how long it takes Thumper to call in at this point?
Yeah, right? Exactly. You so bad wanting to do that? Let's say they get rid of overtime tax. There's another conversation. Abe Turnus, welcome to the show. Glad you're commenting on us. Cheap freight. Newer trucks can be set to idle below or above. I didn't mention that a minute ago, Griff. If you're dealing with high temperatures, the same is true as with low temperatures. If it goes over, I think it's 100 degrees or 99, the truck will bypass that circuit too. I think that's the temperature. It might maybe give or take, but people just don't know these trucks of today, and that's a lot of the problem. So
you can control that. You can control that. You can go in and change the parameters of that. I did it in my truck.
Oh, did you? Okay. I thought the only way to do that was to take it to the dealer and have them reprogram the ECM.
Well, that's what I just said.
You know,
bring it. They don't reprogram the ECM. Well, they get into the ECM and change all the settings. It's no different than taking off adapted cruise control and stuff like that.
Yep. Go ahead, Larry.
Hey, what does all this have to do with the price of tea in China besides paid parking?
I don't know. Do you drink tea in China? Do you drink tea in China?
We're talking about paid parking, right? Or do we got
This
on the
isn't the
subject
only
of
thing we're talking about.
refrigerators, ambient temperatures?
Let me tell you. Up here in Canada. Sorry, poet. I had to do it, poet.
Yeah.
No, I got a different perspective for you. Someone left a comment and it started my mind thinking. So 7C says that he pays for parking, it's his mortgage. Now, think about that for a second. When you go home, you pay rent or you have a mortgage, correct? If you're out on the road, you're parking your house somewhere for free. You don't have rent or mortgage. Paid parking is basically your rent. 100%. I actually agree with that. It's a different way to look at it, but it's actually a good point.
Is that to be added to the capital? Go ahead, Larry.
Huh?
Go ahead.
That goes back to the whole planning your trip, so you don't have to find paid parking.
Oh, you took.
Sometimes you have to pay for parking, unless you're grumpy and you've been in the industry 25 years and you don't need a refrigerator. Most people pay for parking once or twice a week.
Was I born yesterday and just came into the industry today?
What?
I don't know. Did the dinosaurs pay for our fuel? I mean, what's your point, Larry?
Wait. What did he just say? None of that. But if you go to TAs, a lot of them have Taco Bell, and tacos are good.
I love me some tacos. Maybe if we pay for parking, we get free tacos.
But boss man, when you're on break, do you like tacos?
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. That's funny. I don't care who you are.
I'm just saying. I mean, I've been out here just as much as Fate, and I don't have. I'm always on the road, so I don't go home. I don't have that kind of luxury. So
are you siding with Grumpy then?
No, I plan my trip so I don't have to pay for parking. Whether I'm running overnights, whether I'm running during the day, there's certain.
Okay, so let me ask.
How do you plan your trip so that you don't have to pay for parking at 2 a.m.? I'm just curious. I want to know your solution for that.
I was going to ask that my way. So tell me, Larry, what does
that have to do with tea in China?
What was that?
You don't have to pay for parking.
He killed it. He's got no microphone now. We are about fun around here.
We heard his mic. I just heard his mic when he took it off. I hear it now.
Yeah.
Larry, start talking.
Try talking, dude. You're like,
hello.
Yeah.
I'm auditioning for the new Japanese Godzilla movie. Thank you. But anyway, no.
Well, I mean, go ahead.
Back to your point, if you're planning your trips like you should during your free trips, you can avoid paying for parking.
Right. Parking on the fuel island is free. You don't have to worry about parking if you do it in the fuel island.
Might make you famous too.
I think Chief Rahal just triggered every truck driver that ever's been out here.
I was gonna say the only thing it'll cost you is a date with Ike Stevens. Anyway, I'll tell you what. I've had a lot of fun with this show. I'm not ready to wrap it up. I want to talk some more sensible stuff, guys. I'm looking ahead. We're talking about parking right now. I want to look ahead to fixing the industry in other ways. So I want to offer some tips on ways to deal with things not related to parking, but maybe a little bit helpful nonetheless. Things like detention time. All right. That's something we've talked about in other shows. Unpaid time sitting at docks, that's a big one. All right. That's chewing away at our money just the same way parking does. So how do we fight that one? How do we get the most out of the time that should be spent driving rather than sitting? You want to talk about that? Larry, go ahead. Say something.
Well, you like midlife does. Bribe the shippers and receivers with Girl Scout cookies.
I have along those same lines. I have a question to ask you guys, and it's going to trigger somebody on this panel. So, is there ever a time that you shouldn't claim detention, even though it's owed to you?
Shouldn't claim detention, even though it's owed to you. I can't imagine that. Why?
Anybody else? Anybody think of any reason why you shouldn't?
You should, if you qualify for detention, you should get detention.
Yeah. I can't see where you're going with that, John.
I can only speak for myself. My time is valuable. I don't care if I'm hauling a customer load or Johnny spot market load. My time is valuable. Yeah. I agreed to a rate and a load based on the pay and the time that load's going to take me. If it goes longer, you owe me for that. If you choose not to pay me for that, I choose not to haul your freight anymore.
I totally get what you're saying. Now let me put a twist on it. If you've ever owned a business and you have customers, sometimes you throw a customer a bone, as great customer service. And so if you have a customer that you haul freight for all the time, and you have a possibility where you could get like an hour of detention, you don't charge them for it. And you let them know, hey, I'm throwing you this bone. That's not a bad thing.
I never said it was a bad thing. It's something I wouldn't do because I'm in business to make money.
It's a negotiating
tactic. Made money on
Keeping customers happy makes you more money.
The customer doesn't care about that. Like this idea that the customer cares about paying detention is ridiculous. The customer doesn't care.
That is a ridiculous idea for a negotiating tactic that, by the way, I can remind you, may bite you in the ass in the long run, because then it's no longer it's no longer an expense you write off in your case or what you're talking about, however mentally you're thinking of it. Then it's an expectation. So then it becomes something that they can rape you for.
No, if it's part of the rate con, it falls on you to charge them back for it, and they do owe it to you. Right. He's 100% correct.
So why
it doesn't become an expectation?
So why would you let that go?
Have you ever had a business where you hooked a customer up with a steak, even though they didn't earn that steak, but it was because they were a great customer?
Well, I'm
It's
not
no
a Schwann's
different.
representative, so I can't really represent that, but okay.
That's different than what we do.
Am I wrong, guys? Put it in the comment down below. Am I wrong? Like, as a truck driver, it just sounds mortally wrong to say what I'm saying, and I get why you guys, especially Fate's kind of triggered over this. But if you think about it, outside of the trucking industry, throwing people a bone is a very common practice. When you take care of you, you take care of them type of situation.
I'm not
John,
triggered.
let me
A
ask
customer isn't going to take care of you, John.
Right.
All a customer cares about is if your truck's there to pick the freight up. They're not going to scratch your back.
Or your butt. God knows, I hope not. Let me ask you this. What happened in last week's show? Okay. What happened to the art of first impressions? Why not just do a good enough job that you don't have to rely on throwing bones at customers to get business? Just do the job, do it well, and represent yourself truthfully. You don't have to throw bones and lose money. Pardon me.
Why not both?
Flashing my high beams at me.
Why not both?
Anyway.
Sorry, I had someone back in the next one.
Well, I mean,
Again,
I
take trucking out of it. Take trucking out of it. Have you ever been in any other business in the world where they don't do that? That's a normal thing in a regular business world, and they all want to make money.
But John, take trucking out of it, John.
This was a trucking show, my friend. I thought this was a trucking show.
Come on, you tell me take trucking out of it. What the hell? I mean,
Okay.
you can't take trucking out of it.
Hold on. You can't take
Dr.
trucking
Ruth,
out of
can
it.
you be quiet for a second? Yeah, go ahead. I'm talking to Dr. Ruth, not you. Oh, sorry, over there. Dr. Ruth over there. Not you. Go ahead, Pete.
You can't take trucking out of it because you're holding the contract in your email or your physical hand that states everything you are responsible for and everything the broker or customer is responsible for.
I said you're not
Part
wrong.
of that is detention. But what you're saying about having a customer and throwing them a bone, that is, you're not doing that under a contract. You're doing that like on the side. Like, think of there's a place that you and I sometimes pick up from. I have bought in that place, that entire place, pizza before, twice. It's hundreds of dollars to do that. That's me throwing them a bone. Because I'm not
100%.
under
I
any
agree.
contract to
100%. I agree. 100%. I agree. I agree. It's in my mind. It's no different.
Go ahead, Larry.
It's way different. There's no contract. Plain and simple. There's no contract.
And they honored their contract if you said you didn't want it. The contract's still honored.
No, it's not.
It's a bad example because detention isn't technically paid by the person that we're talking about. But along the same lines as pizza, for example.
That's the thing. That's what you don't understand. Detention is paid by that person we're talking about. They have worked it into the rate.
The person that you and I are talking about, yes. Most people deal with brokers. Brokers aren't the one that are paying attention. They charge it right back to the shipper or the receiver, whoever kept you.
Let's not confuse current situation with the hypothetical we originally started this conversation with. Okay, because I'm not going to ever represent who you guys are or are not. But my only concern is, you said, and I quote, let's take trucking out of the argument. How can you be on a trucking show and take trucking out of the argument we're having, because it is about trucking? The point I made earlier revolves around the show we had last week was talking about first impressions. Negotiations are everything. If you negotiate correctly and represent yourself truthfully, why should you consider yourself be put in a position where it's necessary to throw a hypothetical bone into anything? If you do it right, you get right. If they keep you, you charge for it. It's pretty simple. And as Fate said, it's baked into the contract. You know it before you sign it. What's the problem? You're trying
I didn't
to
say there was a problem.
I
didn't say there was a problem.
Well, no, but what you
all
said
bones
was,
all bones cost money, whether it's a pizza bone, a detention bone, or a Girl Scout bone. It don't friggin' matter. And I use that reference because midlife gave us Girl Scout cookies, not Girl Scouts away.
Hold on,
Just want
because
to
Cheap
leave
Freight
that
Hauler
disclaimer.
Cheap Freight Hauler just put this up here. Let me be clear about something.
Yep.
John potentially could have changed what the customer has done for us for the last 3 years, which is take care of us when we're owed it. When you don't do that, you set a precedent that affects other people. We have a customer that we don't have to argue about detention. It's automatically given to us. So
we're not actually referring to detention, but we're not actually referring to detention. And this was an abstract idea, not an actual event. So,
well, it's kind of my fault because I brought detention up as a means to get into some tips and tricks that would help drivers watching the show right now. But we dovetailed into obvious chaos. Hey, while we're talking about chaos, what about overregulation? I personally think we're tipping the corner to an atmosphere where that shouldn't be a problem. What do you think? Simple question.
Are you trying to trigger midlife?
No, I don't want God. Midlife ain't here. It ain't his show. No, but I see your point, though. I mean, think about it. From ELD mandates to confusing hours of service rules, the parking issue we're talking about, everything keeps getting regulated. Why go that route? You know, it's abundantly obvious that we got to kind of police ourselves. You know, and that's part of the reason why I started the show the way I did tonight, because you know what? We can solve a lot of these problems ourselves. We don't need everybody else stepping in telling us how to do it. You know, like doggy bags that was mentioned earlier. Just pick your damn doggy bags up. Don't make them pay somebody else to do it. Simple stuff like that. I mean, you know, I'm the first one to say there's too many damn regulations in this industry. You know, be nice to know if I'm not alone in that. Just saying. Hashtag just saying. Anyway.
Well, the e-logs are there because of people like me, Grumpy, who used to run the wrong ways.
What do you mean? You telling me you used to run under the radar?
Well, yeah.
Are you admitting on YouTube that you did things illegal?
You leave me out of that illegal deal. I had nothing to do with that kind of stuff. I want no part of that.
That's who I was trying to get piped up.
I think he was trying to trigger you, Grumpy, and it worked. Let me tell you, it worked.
I'm serious. I mean, back in the day, yes, you did run 2-3 logbooks. If anyone's been driving for a while, knows that's how you made your money back then. You were you were less regulated on hours than you are today.
Right.
So, I mean, you take our little 8-hour break or the 30-minute break that we have to do in 8 hours. Who drives a full 8 hours before stopping to take a 30-minute break?
Don't know many people that do. So what? You're saying we shouldn't have the 30-minute break at all?
Oh, you're going to stop anyway. Eventually.
No.
Why did we have to have why did they have to say, oh, you guys need to take a 30-minute break in the middle of your day?
What was your question? How many hours before you take your break?
You could drive 8. You drive over what?
Basically, I don't know. Most of the people on this panel know this about me. I'll drive 7.5 hours and then take my half-hour break. I do it all the time. I know a lot of guys don't do that, but I do. They'll stop every 3 or 4 hours, but
I stop at 5 hours every hour. That way, by the time your 30-minute break's done, you still have 6 hours to run.
Yeah. You're not alone in that, Larry. You are not alone in thinking that it's ridiculous that we're forced to take one. But you know what? It is what it is. We can't change it. But you know what? Even if they say we don't have to, I'm still not going to abuse it anyway. I'm probably going to take a break anyway. So to me, it's a redundant issue.
Let's be honest. If they said I didn't have to take a half-hour break, I would not pee for as long as it took me to drive. That's not healthy.
You would have one stinking truck. I'm sorry. I hate to ride with you. That's all I'm saying.
Should I be worried? I got a prime truck backing in next to me here. Should I be worried?
I don't know. I just saw a pretty sweet looking cab over past me with some nice green lights on it. That was pretty sweet looking.
And you didn't show me? How rude.
I can't. I have a fixed camera. Don't blame me. Don't hate on the hater.
You got a headache, Fate? Do you? I see you rubbing your eyes there.
I was going to say, I know who didn't cause that, and it ain't my fault.
I didn't do it.
Perfect segue into my last thought and topic, health and wellness. Looking ahead, we got to do more about that, I think. Thumper was on the right track talking about mental health. But I'll take it a step further. Lack of access to nutritional foods, like that wonderful diet that good old Fate was showing us, to limited exercise options, maintaining our health while on the road is no small feat. What can we do to bring more awareness to that? Or maybe change it? Think about that. Any suggestions?
Are you serious? We're talking about health now. Get out. You're in the truck stop. Get out and walk the parking lot. Stop eating truck stop food. Get your own food. Make it in the truck.
No Taco Bell. I get you.
If you don't know how to cook, there's plenty of cooking shows on TV that'll teach you.
No Taco Bell, right?
Get out of the truck and walk around the truck stop a few times.
Uh-huh. There you go. That's a good one. What about you, Fate? You're one about pushing health, so what you got to say about it?
Oh, it's mindset. It's like nothing. It's like everything else. It's mindset. It's easy to grab the Little Debbie donuts and things like that, and grab the Snickers bars and the sodas. And as I have a soda right here, you know, it takes some discipline to pack a fridge and pack a cooler and practice cooking in your truck. But I'll tell you what, like, once you do it, it just becomes normal to make your own food, to do your own things, and it's better for you. It's healthier for you.
Look at the comment. That's an interesting perspective I didn't know existed. Cheap Freight Hauler says the 30-minute break came from the fact that drivers would sit for 11 hours. We're having lots of drivers having blood clots. I don't know if there's any truth behind that, but that would be interesting, you know, because of what you just mentioned a minute ago. I mean, driver health is an important thing. And, you know, I think it's not well enough served. So the fact that we're talking about this, I mean, great. But I don't know. I can't dispute what you're saying, Chief Hauler. I tend to want to believe it, but what John must have changed in the background. Mandatory 30-minute break is a good idea. I think drivers would get out of the seat and move a little. Now they just scroll TikTok at the fuel island. That's yeah. I mean, so health and wellness, I think, is very important. So yeah, good thing to know. Any parting thoughts, Grumpy? Because I think we're running out of things to talk about here, unless you got something else you want to talk about.
Can I weigh in on the health thing, if you don't mind, since he's not responding?
I am responding.
Sorry about that. Well, you know, in his 25 years, he's gotten a little slow on the draw. You know what I mean? Us young pups out here, we're just quicker on the draw. I just called myself younger than Grumpy. That's funny. All right, I don't care who you are. Sorry, I had to jump out and help a driver because he was dangerously close. So, honestly, the downside of having a refrigerator and a microwave and all that, the half-hour break doesn't help with blood clots. The reason why is people like me, I don't get out of my truck. I'm not gonna lie. I get out of my truck when I go to shippers and receivers, to go in and take a shower, once in a while to get sodas or something. Other than that, I don't get out of my truck. I got everything in my truck. I'm a hermit. Yep. So And that's the reality of it. That's why truck stops don't make money. That's why people aren't healthy out here walking around the truck stops getting exercise. All of that is part of the solution and the problem. So
Very true. Very true. We are all about solutions and talking about the issues. So I welcome everybody to join us again on our next show where we're going to keep talking about that. In the meantime, Grumpy, close us out, my friend. What have you got to add to all this, and what's your thoughts on driver health?
Well, yes, I agree. We do need to get out there and do a little bit more walking things instead of just sitting in our trucks whenever we could be doing stuff like that. And let me tell you, you've got to look at the factor of it is, I come from old school where basically, we walked into truck stops to get our dinners. We walked back out to our trucks, and there wasn't no reserve spots up close to the place. We wound up sometimes in the back. Nowadays, not happening. Just remember, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
truckers
That is
are
very
people
important. That is important. And Fate, God bless you. I don't care what side of the aisle. You good people, your opinion counts. Your voice matters, just like everybody else.
Subscribe to
tell you
Fate
something.
Trucking.
Just like that. Just like that. And just like that. I'm going to tell you something. Everything we talked about tonight is vitally important. And it is to the core of what this show, my attitude, and you guys need to think about. Your voice matters. It's trucks that make the deliveries, but it's you that make the difference. We're looking out for you week after week, Saturdays and Wednesdays, 7 o'clock on the dot. We look for you to be here and enjoy the content. Subscribe and like, follow John, follow Fate, Larry the Trucker, and Grumpy, because we're here. We're keeping the faith. We're keeping it real. And until we see you next time, y'all keep it rolling.